Welcome to Norway.
I came for snow. Snow I got. Camera's going away for a little while.
Wow. That is so crazy.
Oh my god.
Yells for food and yells the church up there was burnt down by the Germans before they left after the Second World War, and then 20 years later they came back and rebuilt it because they felt so bad that they burnt it down.
That's beautiful. Interesting.
It's kind of fun. Is the store?
Did your grandpa help rebuild it?
Probably not. I think.
Or did he watch them?
Yeah, like he was probably there with a
With a whip.
with a whip, like rebuild our church. This is the tiny little store that we have here.
It's beautiful.
So snowy. This is exactly what Norway is supposed to be like.
Like a very Norwegian awesome.
Hey.
Is there more out in the car?
I
Did you get everything?
think so.
Nice.
Yeah, let's. Wow. It's been almost a year since I've seen my sister, since she moved over to Norway with her husband and they had their little kid. As she works through getting citizenship, she hasn't been able to travel, so we haven't been able to see each other at all, and it was good to reconnect. And then in the morning, we just spent some time hanging out around their family cabin where Lucas grew up. And a huge bonus was one of my other sisters and her husband and their daughter also were there for the first few days of our trip. So we got to spend a little bit of family time in the Arctic with multiple of our siblings from around the world.
Is that a nice fart?
You happy?
Are you happy? Yeah.
No more yelling? Is that pretty nice? Oh man, those cheeks just make you wanna. Oh, be careful! Don't go shark on you. Oh. Oh, it got me. After a relaxing day, we were feeling fairly recovered, and so we wanted to get out, stretch the legs, and do a little jogging on these snowy and icy roads. So we weren't quite sure how it would go, if we would be slipping all over and breaking a hip, but things went pretty well, and we were able to explore around the town, which didn't take too long, and watch a big old storm rolling in on the cabin that arrived just after we got back to the cabin. And check this out. This is my little nephew napping in his stroller out in the cold, which is a traditional Scandinavian thing to do, and he seems to love it. And then after that, we jumped on some snowmobiles that my brother-in-law borrowed from a couple of his buddies locally and proceeded to have one of the most fun afternoons I have had in a long time. picnic time. Really? Oh man. Yeah, it's barbecue season. You warm? After a fun day in the snow that we wrapped up with a barbecue, we warmed up in the sauna, and because we felt like it was a necessary thing when we're in Norway, we tromped down through the snow and jumped into the Arctic water, which was really strange because in all the cold water, snowy polar plunges I've done in the past, it's always fresh water, and so my brain was tweaking out a little bit, trying to comprehend why there wasn't sand and warm air if there was salt in the water. But it was a cool experience. We did it once, skipped a rock, and then got back inside of the sauna.
I like when he comes out of nowhere.
Now, I've been lucky enough to see the Northern Lights a few times while I've been in Alaska in the past, but Sadie never has, and so far on the trip it had been overcast at night and there was no lights, but the forecast for the final night that we had in this small little town was looking promising, and so we stepped outside in the evening and were just blown away. So we hopped in the hot tub and enjoyed what, from my experience, was the most wild Northern Light show that I have ever seen. There was times where there was green stretching from horizon to horizon all the way overhead, and this was certainly the first time I've gotten to watch them while sitting in a hot tub as comfortable as ever, and we were just blown away.
Oh, look at the purple.
This is by far the most intense I've ever seen. Wow. The next morning, we woke up bright and early and packed our bags to head south. We were going to drop off my sister and my nephew at the airport so they could take a quicker flight down to where we were headed, which was almost a 7-hour drive south along the coastline through all the fjords to the city of Tromsø, which was where Lucas, my brother-in-law's siblings, live. And so we were going to spend the remaining parts of our trip there. And this drive down was absolutely epic. The weather was beautiful for most of the time, and we just got to see all sorts of cottages and boats all along the fjords with the just towering snow-covered mountains surrounding, which is still just such a foreign concept to me, seeing snow, mountains, and salt water all right next to each other. And I couldn't help but scope out about 1,000 different lines I'd love to ski someday. Sometimes I feel like we have some of the windiest roads in the world here in Idaho, but I'm telling you now that Norway sure gives us a run for our money with all the fjords, and because they don't want to always take the windy route, they also love their tunnels, and we pass through many different tunnels that just plunge right through mountainsides on our way down south to Tromsø. And then we rolled into town with a little bit of a snow flurry going, got to see the iconic church on the entrance inn that's modeled after some of the old historic lodge styles that are from the area, and crossed over the bridge into the town where Lucas's siblings live. In Tromsø, Lucas's brother's family was nice enough to host us for the remainder of our trip, and we started off by admiring some of their Norwegian wool sweaters, which was one of the things on our hit list. And then I also went out and admired their method of travel in the winter. I was blown away at just how much they seemed to not care about what the weather was doing. If they wanted to bike, they would bike, and that was just normal way of life for them. So we tried to embrace it ourselves and just be more active through the winter, regardless of whether it was pouring snow or not. Snow is coming down. Sadie and I jumped on a city bus and cruised into town where we saw the world's smallest bar, and then we started our search for a wool sweater, which was something that Sadie had been dreaming of for a long time. And to fuel us up, we hit a few coffee shops where we tried their coffee and trees, and oh my gosh, they were great. And then we wandered around in the snow, looking at all the different thrift shops until we would hopefully find a nice warm wool sweater for Sadie's. Mission accomplished. Sweater obtained. Excuse me, ma'am. Do you live here? I figured by your sweater you're a local.
Here in the here.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's here. But a Norwegian knitted this.
Something we found through our travels is that no matter where you are, there will be a McDonald's. And apparently this one is the furthest north in the entire world. And while we don't go to McDonald's often, we figured why not, since we were here, and apparently it's a real thing. And then we went outside and continued to admire how people just bike and walk and run up and down hills, to and from work and play all year round. Now, you guys know that I love taking saunas, and we've been lucky enough to have one for a couple of years, and it's been awesome. But there's something about the idea of taking a sauna in a Scandinavian country that I have always romanticized. And so we had voiced that desire to Lucas, and he went out and rented a public sauna on a floating dock here in Tromsø and invited us and a bunch of friends to go and use it. And I was so excited. So we went out on this dock past all the really cool boats over the fjord and used this sauna for just over an hour, where we could go in and out of the sauna, jump in the water, and just enjoy a little bit of Scandinavian sauna culture.
The women's.
Strong, steamy. Too.
5 meter. 5 meter, okay. Wow. Okay. Yep. You guys make it look like nothing.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you. The public sauna experience was absolutely awesome, and I couldn't stop thinking about how I wanted to find a way to do this in Idaho someday, but we'll see if that ever happens. And after that, we got some more coffee at another local coffee shop that we totally loved, and then I joined Alexander, and he had rounded up some borrowed ski gear for me so that we could go check off my bucket list item of skiing in Norway.
Welcome to Norway.
I came for snow. Snow I got. Prior to this trip, I had been texting Alexander about the idea of skiing, and I was wondering if I should bring all of my gear with me, or at least my boots, since boots can be the most critical part of a setup. And he told me not to. He figured he could round up some gear for me to use, and when I got there, he showed me what he had for me to try on that he'd borrowed from a buddy. And lo and behold, he had the exact same boots and skis that I have back in Idaho. They're a little different colors boots, but they were only a half size bigger than mine, and throwing on an extra layer of socks made them fit like an absolute glove. And these boots are awesome. They're Scarpa Maestrals, and I highly recommend them. I've been using them this year now in Idaho and in Norway, and they're great. So we got all geared up, jumped on the skis, and headed out for what ended up being a near whiteout on some low-grade skiing terrain because the avalanche danger was considerable and we weren't interested in getting caught. You think it's clearing up, huh? A little wind. The visibility is really good though. You can tell exactly where you are. Well, downtime? Bluebird day. Later. We made it. Well, I'll say, no matter what the conditions are, any day that I get to sauna and ski and drink good coffee is a big win. So being in Norway just triples that up. Spent the rest of our evening hanging out, warming back up, and admiring how much they love the cold and leaving their kids out in the cold because they need to grow tough or something like that. And then we just watched the snow stack up. It seemed like it was just non-stop for multiple days. We were shoveling it multiple times a day, and then each time you'd go out, it seemed like it was time to start all over again, which was a good test to see if we would ever be cut out for living in the mountains where it snows a lot. I think so. I'm not sure what Sadie thinks, but I do know we'd probably want a snowblower if we were to live somewhere in the mountains.
Look, instead of tool bags, you have tool pants. Everything built in. Sponsors, maybe company. Pencil. So streamlined. Gloves. Pads built in.
The next day, after I got done admiring Luke's brother-in-law's carpentry pants, we hopped in the car because the weather was perfect, went through another tunnel, this time under the fjord, and we were going to do some skiing because Sadie had also wanted to do some skiing, but we didn't have the gear for it the day prior. But we were able to scrounge up enough kit to cruise up to their local resort where Sadie rode her first T-bar, and we got to get some laps in at their resort, and it was an absolute blast. The next morning there was more snow on the ground, so picked up the shovel, did a little more shoveling, and then we cruised up to a local trail to try out some cross-country skiing for my first time ever. And this groomer lays down a path that people can use to get across the island, and Lucas showed me how it was done. I tried my best, but I'll tell you what, it was extremely hard. And then we went back, trudged through the snow up to Alexander's house again, because once again they just don't mind the weather. Got our final run in, and then it was time to pack our bags and start the long journey back to the US with all of the wonderful memories that we captured along the way.